In this video, I'm going to share with you how to be financially free through properties within 3 months. I will take you through step by step to ensure you learn the steps to take your financial situation to the next level. If you like this video or any of my videos, hit the like button below, subscribe to my YouTube channel for more of these amazing tutorials. Let's get to it. Right? Suppose you are in a job, right? It's kind of an average job. You're working ridiculous long hours. You haven't got time for family. You don't even like your job, and you're earning only £25,000 a year, and then obviously your take-home salary may be about £19,200 a year, and you've got no money elsewhere apart from that job, and you hate the job, you don't like the job. Basically, your manager is a pain in the ass, and basically they do not let you do anything willingly. They have to force you to actually do all this sort of thing. So in this video, I'm really going to share with you how to take you from that rat race, or from that job that you dreadful, and the job that you really hate, to where you could do something that you like that will generate a passive return on your investment. So that's exactly what I'm going to share with you. Suppose you're earning £25,000 and your net income, this is taking your taxes, national insurance, and you're making about £19,200. So from that £19,200 is what you use to actually live on. So the first step to actually take to getting you to financial freedom within 3 months is, number one, basically you have to have the determination. The determination is what gets you to achieve what you set yourself to achieve. The determination is what I also call the mindset. You have to have the mindset. You have to believe in that. I know it's difficult to believe in something you haven't done before. It's difficult to believe in something that you don't really think works, but trust me on that. Believe in that. Believe in yourself to say you can make this happen. Get that mindset and get the determination to say it would happen. Because that's what I did when I started my property investment journey. I said to myself, I need to make this happen no matter what. I was determined, right? Once I was determined, I set my goals, right? I worked out what my annual income was, then worked it out in a monthly income, and then worked out what was my net income. And then I went to work. Basically, I determined no matter what, I will work tirelessly to get me to that financial freedom figure. And then what I did, basically, I surround myself with, guess what, people who are thinking the same way I'm thinking, people who want to do exactly what I want to do. I'm thinking people who are way over and beyond what I want to achieve. So I set those goals. I said to myself, I need to have minimum of 10 properties a year. Right? I know if I had 3 properties or 4 properties, I'm financially free, but I wanted to have minimum of 10 properties a year to ensure I am rubber stamped and I'm protected, and I know my income is going to come to me passively. Okay? Set that goals, and get what? Surround yourself with those people who are doing what you're doing, or surround yourself with people who have already done what you're doing, to ensure you're able to actually get to that level. Right? So once you've set that level, other thing you need to think about basically is the strategy you want to execute. Again, there's so many property strategies out there, but each and every one of them gets you to financial freedom. So in this example, I'm really looking at someone who's on £25,000, who hasn't got a home, he hasn't got any savings, he hasn't got any money to actually start the property investment. Right? That is the example I'm using here. And again, if you've got £5,000 or £10,000, this example may also help you expedite that process because you've got enough to start with. Okay, let's say you haven't got property, you haven't got money, and then obviously you want to get into property. So the first thing I would suggest you do, basically, as everybody would suggest, is to educate yourself. If you want to binge study Facebook, watching Facebook videos on properties, or YouTube videos on properties, binge study it. I know it's the long way to do it, but again, if you haven't got the money, just binge study, look for the gaps and try to bring those gaps together. And again, if you have that money, if you have £1,000 or £2,000 or £3,000, work with someone who would mentor you or train you to get that knowledge and all the legal document required to start whatever strategy you want to start with. Suppose you pay for that because you haven't got any money left, then the strategy you need to start with basically is deal sourcing. Again, deal sourcing, people trying to make it so big, you have to be compliant, you have to do X, Y, Z for you to be able to deal source. Right? If you're beginning, obviously you haven't got that money. You don't even know what the legal requirements are, okay? So if you educate yourself for what you do, you work with someone who is compliant, right? That's the reason why I said to you earlier, surround yourself with people that are doing what you're doing, people that are in properties. Okay, so get a deal sourcer who is compliant, and then you go out there, look for the deals, and get him to help you sell the deal. Right? Get him to help you sell the deal. So you go out there, look for the deal, whether it's rent-to-rent deals, whatever deals you want to get, just get a property deal at discount, right? Work with that sourcer, let him help you sell the deal. Again, you don't have to be compliant at this point, because obviously you're not selling it, you're providing that to someone who's compliant, who would obviously analyze the deal to ensure it hits his investor criteria, and then push that deal onto those investors. So again, once you push those deals onto the investors, then he will sell that property deal and it start making you money. A good source deal would go for anywhere from £3,000 to about £5,000. Okay, suppose you got this deal and you were able to sell it for £4,000, and you went to a joint venture partnership with this deal sourcer on a 50-50 shared profit. So again, if you sell the property deal for £4,000, then you have £2,000. So what you do with that £2,000, don't go and spend it in buying expensive trainers or shoes. What you do basically, you save that money, because your intention basically is to start acquiring your own property deals. Okay, so again, you look for another property deal. Again, you joint venture with that person, get him sell that deal, then save you get your 50% share, and then you save that as a second £2,000. So that gives you £4,000. You're well away to actually start your property investment journey. And again, basically, you do the same thing. Do minimum of 3 deals that will generate you about £6,000. Okay, if you've got that £6,000, you are in a better position. Okay, suppose you don't want to do deal sourcing, right? You want to go in straight away. If you're able to get a credit card, I'm not going to advise you on this, but you need to, even if you're doing it, make sure you know what you're doing, and then obviously make sure you're using the money from that credit card to invest in properties. You're not using it to go on holidays or buy expensive trainers or things like that. So again, you can use that, then you can kickstart your investment journey straight away. That then begs the question then, what strategy do you really want to do to ensure you start making passive income so you can quit your job, right? So for me, the one I started with rent to rent, the reason why I recommend rent to rent for a start is because rent to rent gives you that security, right? Once you've got the property, you can easily rent. But before I explain that to you, let me define what rent to rent is, okay? Rent to rent is the process by which you, the investor, would acquire a property from a landlord by promising that landlord that you would pay them guaranteed rent every single month, okay? So what you then do as an investor, you rent that property room by room basis, okay? I will go into an example later on so you understand exactly what it is. So what you then do basically, then you pay the landlord the rent, you make the difference. Okay, so again, then you go look for these sort of property deals. Again, once you've got your rent-to-rent deal, obviously then what you then do, you actually set it up and you start renting that property out. But before we get to that, how do you acquire rent-to-rent property deals? Again, people are struggling with this because they don't know what to say, how to say it, or what to do. And again, if you'd educated yourself already, that puts you again in a better position because you would have learned on how to acquire rent-to-rent property deals. And then what you then basically do, for you to get the rent-to-rent deals, there's so many platforms you can go. You can go Rightmove, Zoopla, Gumtree, Open Rent, Spare Room. You can check for deals in all these platforms, okay? Look for properties that you think are not being looked after nicely, or properties that have been on the market for a very long time, and then approach the landlord. Okay, what sort of landlords you want to approach also? You want to approach busy landlords that don't have time to manage their properties, either because they've got other businesses or basically they are tired landlords, they just don't have time for the properties anymore. Okay, so basically approach this sort of people. This sort of people need your help, they need your service, right? If you go and present your proposal to them, they are likely to accept you because they just want someone to take over the property. Right, so again, find this sort of people. This sort of people are the people that would help you get the rent-to-rent property deals. Once you've got this landlord, visit the property, understand the landlord's pain point. Okay, understand why they want the rent-to-rent, why they want a guaranteed rent. Listen to them. right? God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So listen to the landlords, understand what their pain points are, and guess what? You basically try to resolve that issue. If they're struggling to manage the property, tell them I can take on this property, I can manage it for you for absolutely free. If they're struggling with repairs, tell them, listen, if I take on these properties, you get free repair and maintenance along the way as well. So these are the sort of thing you could tell your landlord to be able to convince them to take on the property. And then what you do, then basically you have to structure the deal. Right? Structuring in deal is where experience comes in. So what you do, you look at what the market rate is. If the landlord is asking for below market rent, fair enough, right? Negotiate slightly to get a bit of discount, but don't go too hard on them. Okay? If they're asking for over market price, again, sit with them, feed them their pain point and negotiate the deal. Always negotiate your property deals. Never, ever, and ever, and ever go with market rate. I don't do that in any of my deals. I've never bought a property or acquired a property at market rate. Always below market deal. So again, once you've got that deal going, once you've actually then you've discounted the deal, you've negotiated with that landlord, it's about time basically to wrap it up. Once the landlord agreed, right, you have to act immediately. Because what happens, the landlord might have cold feet, okay? If you build a rapport with the landlord, tell him, listen, I'm happy to take the property on. I'm happy to even pay the deposit straight away. You know you've got £6,000 already. Suppose you acquire that property for $4,450. You can put the deposit straight away, right? Or you can put 50% of the deposit straight away. But warning, only if you know that landlord would be reliable landlord and they own that property in the first place. They're not literally representing the landlord, and then put that in writing. Don't do cash. Make a back payment, a transfer from your account to the landlord's account. Okay, so these are the ways you could actually enable yourself to close that deal, because then once the landlord accepts that money, in most situations they will not back out because they've already committed themselves. They've already committed to actually get that to happen. Okay, so again, structure it that way, and then you go to work. Okay, let me now talk to you about the figures. Suppose then you saw this property. It's a 5-bedroom property, maybe ensuite rooms. All of them are ensuite rooms, right? The landlord was asking for £1,600. Well, maybe you were able to secure the property at £1,450. Before you come to £1,450 rent, you have to work the figures out. This is what we call the cash flow analysis. So I'm going to talk you through the cash flow analysis and what you need to consider as a cost when you analyze the deals. Very important for you to ensure this is working before you even agree on that price. And you have to be proactively doing this before the viewings to ensure that when he hits that landlord, you know exactly what your offer is and try to close him there and then, because it's a hot deal basically. Try to close it there and then obviously get to pay the deposit as well. So suppose then we know we've done the analysis, right? The landlord was asking us for 1,600. We then realize, okay, the only way we may be able to make profit is by renting this property by renting the property from the landlord for £1,450, right? We know that's where we want it, okay? So obviously you negotiate with the landlord. Let's assume the landlord agreed to that amount. So what you would have done also, you would have gone and checked how much you would be able to rent an ensuite room in that specific area. So in this example, let's say it was a 5-bedroom house. We're able to rent each of the bedrooms for about £550 per calendar month. So what you could do then basically times that 550 by 5 bedrooms, that would give us about £2,750. That £2,750 is our gross rental income. That is the money we make by renting the property room by room, or the money we will make by renting the property room by room basis. And then what you need to consider as a cost is the rent, obviously, you pay to your landlord. We now know, we've agreed with the landlord, it's £1,450. And the second thing you need to consider is electricity. Electricity is very, very key. Let's say we budgeted electricity. Now we know energy prices are very, very expensive. Let's say we've budgeted £90 for our electricity, and then we did the same thing for gas, £90 to protect our investment. Let's say then water, we budgeted water for about probably £60. So water cost us about £50, and then we've got the council tax is £150, and you've got your Wi-Fi £35, cleaning about £70. Obviously, you have to budget for your maintenance as well. I know you may not be doing maintenance every single month, but I like to put aside about £100 per month on maintenance, and then obviously I pay my TV license for all my properties. People think I'm crazy, but I include that in as well. That's about £30 per calendar month, and then obviously I include voids as well, right? I include the voids. That voids normally I take about 5% of my gross rental income, and again in this example it would be £137.50 or 0.50 pence. So if you add that total together, that gives you a gross expense or a total expense of £2,195 and the 75 pence there as well. So basically what you then do, you would deduct that £2,195.75 from your gross rental income, which was £2,750. If you deduct your expense from your gross rental income of £2,750, you would generate £554.25. Let's just say you would make about £555. Again, that's a net profit. That's a net profit on a property that you don't even own, right? You went, look for a struggling landlord, right? Take on that property from them, did the property nice and rent it to individual who needs it. You bring your own love to it, and you're making £554 a month. And again, it's a property that you don't even own. It's a massive situation to be in. And with property like that, your annual profit would be about £6,650. Again, in a property that you don't even own. This is a strategy I use to actually get me to financial freedom. I'm going to walk you through now what is the next thing you need to do to be able to do that step to get you to financial freedom within 3 months. So what gets you to get this financial freedom within 3 months? So now you know you're making about £555 a month, right? We know our net gross income is £1,600 a month. So roughly we need about 3 properties to be financially free. Okay, and we've got our first property, so we've got 2 more properties to go, and we need to do this within 3 months. Okay, so what you first need to do basically with the landlord you've approached first, you've closed, right? Make sure you do exactly what you promised, or even better, go beyond doing what you've agreed to do with the landlord. Go beyond it. Let the landlord be impressed in what you do. And once you've done whatever you need to do to that property, invite them in the property. Show them what you've done to the property. But before you get to doing that, you have to ask them for one thing, one favor. Tell them, listen, if I take on this property from you, I do all this stuff we've agreed, I would like you to recommend me to any landlord you know. Give him a target, say minimum of 3 landlords. Or if you're ambitious, say minimum of 4 landlords, okay? Tell him, if you want 2 landlords as a referral, tell him I want minimum of 4 landlords, okay? So if you've done that property really, really nice, guess what? The landlord would be satisfied and happy. If they have another property, they will refer anybody else. Forget that person. They will refer themselves to you. And then guess what? That will be a second deal, right? So that's how I started basically. I get the properties done. Some landlords really, I've got 2 or 3 properties of theirs. Some of them I've got even 8 properties from them, okay? So once you've done it really, really nice, you've literally hit all your promises, right? Basically, ask them to recommend you. If they haven't got any properties themselves, they will recommend you to a family friend or to a friend that they know that is doing property. That's how you get your second deal. Right? That's how you get your second deal. Again, you do exactly the same thing. If it happens to be a different landlord, meet the landlord, find out what their pain point is, and again, find a way to serve them. You're not going to make profit. Finding what their pain point are, find a way to help them. Again, do exactly the same thing. Remember, rinse and repeat the process. Speak to them, find out what their pain point is. Tell them what you could offer them. Guaranteed rent, no void, free repair and maintenance for long term, okay? Say, if I take on this property, I will do exactly what I did for your friend, okay? I will take the property, do it really, really nice. And again, that's your second property. You do exactly the same thing. Tell him, John, if I take on this property, I'll need you to do me a favor. I will do all this stuff we've agreed, but like you to recommend 4 people to me. It could be landlords or anybody that you know that is interested in things like that. Guess what? John will recommend you to someone else. So you've got your second property, right? That second property now is generating you £550. Again, that gives you a total of, to be precise, it will generate you £1,110 basically, right? That's what you've generated from those 2 deals. And again, the recommendation, he might recommend you to himself. So if they recommend themselves to you, right, what that means basically, you now have a leeway, right? What you could say, okay, John, what we could do basically, I'll take this property off you as I've done on the other property, but this time around, I'm happy to take this property. Could I delay paying you the deposit for about a month or so until I get the property sorted out nicely? Guess what? The landlord would allow it. He would accept it, right? That's what I've done recently with one of my mentees, right? We acquired the first apartment. We've paid him rent and deposit. He wanted us to take on the second apartment. We said, okay, we can take it on. You know, we can pay you the rent, but we haven't got the deposit at the moment. Is that okay for me to move it on for about a couple of months? He said, well, yes, of course, no problem at all. You can pay me in about a couple of months or so. So again, that's how we were able to close that deal. You can do exactly, because they know you now. They know you're reliable. You're a good investor. You're a good person to work with. So they'll refer you then. So suppose now they refer you to the third person, right? Third person, and again, you do exactly the same thing. You talk to them, you rinse and repeat the process. That person also, you secure his property, that will generate you £555. Again, the £555 I'm using here, or 550, is basic. That's what you need to be making as profit in any rent-to-rent deal. If you're not making a minimum of £500 in a deal, walk away from it, because it's not worth doing. It's really, really not worth doing. Right? So if you're making 550, then brilliant. So that means you've got 3 deals, 1 from the first landlord, 1 from the second landlord, and then the third one may be from one of those 2 landlords. So you've got your third property. So what you then do basically is to go and sack your manager, especially if your manager's been an asshole, right? You go and sack him, tell him, ask him to F off, you're gone. Make sure you burn that bridge as well, okay? The reason why you need to burn that bridge, to make sure you're never ever going back to working for people. Right? I know not everybody does this. I did it. I made sure I burned that bridge, because I never ever wanted to go back to working for people. And then guess what? I expedite the process that way, because I know I'm not going back because I did a bad thing there. So that only pushes me and motivated me to actually survive in that island. So again, you do that. So that gets you the 3 properties, okay? Once you've got the 3 properties, right, you've quit your job, then you can do it full time. Right? Full time. Remember, those 3 landlords have only referred you to 1 person, right? So you've got 3 more people from each landlord, right? Suppose you only two landlords got these 3 properties from. The one who referred himself and his friend, you've already got two deals from him, and he owes you 2 more deals. And the one that they've referred you to, that hasn't referred you yet, owes you 4 deals. So again, you build a relationship that way. They will refer you. By the time you think about it, you're on your 6th or 7th property, right? In my first year, that's what I did, right? It took me 6 to 7 months to get my first deal. But when I got my first deal, the landlord referred me to another person. That person referred me to another person. The other person referred, and it goes on and on. So I kept getting these deals. I didn't even have money to actually pay for them. But because I got the referral from a solid individual, most landlords were happy for me to take the property without even paying them the rent. I told them, listen, I take the property on, I'll pay you the rent later. And they were happy with it. I don't know why they were. I think they think I'm genuine, and I am a genuine person. So I was able to take those properties, basically rack them all up. Within 12 months, I was able to hit over 10, 15 properties. So again, these are the little things you can do to take you to financial freedom. If £1,600 is your net income, you only need 3 properties. Once you've got the 3 properties, you sack your manager, right? And you go on to property full time if that's what you like, okay? If you love your job, obviously, then £1,600 would be passive income for you as well, because once you've got rent to rent, you spend about maybe a couple of hours or so a week to actually look after the properties. And again, you've got your job. If you love it, you can continue doing your job as well. These are the things you could do to take you to the promised land. right? And any proceed you make from those properties, don't go and spend it. Don't go and spend it on holidays, buying expensive cars. Delay gratification is the key to success, okay? Use the same money, go and acquire more properties. Acquire more properties. And if you need to educate yourself, this is the time you invest a lot more money in educating yourself. Why? Because you know it works. You know it works. You know it works. If you want to diverge into different strategy, make sure you get a mentor to expedite your process. If you want to start buying properties, get someone to mentor you to start buying properties. Warning though, warning, before you do this, as I said to you, educate yourself. Educate yourself, educate yourself, educate yourself. I want to emphasize how important this is because I get burnt by it, right? I get burnt by it. I'll give you an example. I was doing rent to rent. I'm start making this sort of money that I've just told you about. I thought I know about property. When I bought a property in the wrong place, wrong location, wrong price, it cost me £60,000 loss. It cost me £60,000 mistake. And guess what? I had to go and pay someone else £12,000 to £15,000 to train and coach me. So it cost me about £72,000. Again, you don't want to do that same mistakes. You don't want to do the same mistake. So this is why I'm explaining that to you. If you want to get into the next level quicker, faster, most efficiently, learn from someone who's already gone through that path. And again, if you want that to be me, I'm more than happy to actually be your coach or your mentor to take you to the next level in your property investment journey or to help you start your property investment journey. Again, if you're interested in that, there's a link below this description. Click on that link and register yourself for free strategy call, absolutely free, and we can talk about where you are, where you want to go, and see if I may be able to help you. Or if you don't want to go ahead with me, fine. But I would advise you to educate yourself. Whether it's me or anybody else, make sure before you start investing, before you start taking people's money, educate yourself so that you know you're doing a better service once you start your strategy. To conclude, now you know you don't really need the money to start. All you need to do is to take action. Take action. Tell yourself, you remember what I told you at the beginning, determination. Get the determination, get the mindset, set your goals, surround yourself with successful people, and get the ball rolling. Get the ball rolling. Never, ever give up, right? I know it's going to go so tough and hard, right? But don't give up, because if you give up, you've lost, right? And if you lost, guess what? You've lost, right? You only lose once you give up, okay? So do not give up. Continue thriving. Continue doing what you're doing. Continue working hard. Continue doing what you're doing. Because for me, it took me 7 months to get my first deal, right? I never thought about giving up one day. I never thought about even changing the strategy. I said, I'm going to stick to this strategy until I know where it gets me, right? So again, don't do this strategy today. Do another one the next day. Focus on one strategy. If that be rent to rent, fantastic. If it be buy to let, brilliant. If it be rent to service accommodation, brilliant. But don't try to do all the strategies together. It would just derail you, it get you confused, and you end up not making anything out of it, right? That's what I did to be able to build my property portfolio. And again, as I said, I started from zero to building a multi-million-pound property investment portfolio. And again, these are the stuff I've done. I'm sharing that with you so that you could do the exact thing I did. If this video has been helpful, don't forget to share with friends and family. And if you like the video, hit the like button below, subscribe to my YouTube channel for more of these videos. I look forward to sharing the next video. Thank you.